Hello everyone, I'm tribalkai and welcome to the EDH channel. This video is dedicated to Neal Smothers. If you'd like to support the channel as well, then you can visit Patreon and donate with the link in the description below. Failing that, a like, comment and subscribe is always appreciated. Now, let's have a look at everyone's opening hands. Just some lands to start things off. Let's get down Inspiring Vantage before we get any other lands down, because that one can come in tapped, and then we'll pass the turn over. This deck is brought to us by Neal Smothers, by the way, mythic patron of the channel. Big thank you to Neal for giving me a deck to play with and for consistently supporting the channel on Patreon. You can do that as well by following the link in the description below if you want to. Hopefully we can give this deck a good showing today. The first spell of the game is an Idol of Oblivion for the token player. Lightning Greaves coming down for Greedo. And then Borca gets down some colour fixing in Prismatic Lens, which might be relevant, only 2 black lands at the moment. We get a Swords to Plowshares, so maybe it's just Livio. Yeah, I mean, we might as well get it out. Let's play the Plains. I'll hold off on this for as long as I can, because I'm not sure which colour I want to go for it until we've drawn in some lands. With the lands we've got so far, I don't think it's relevant, but you never know. A bounce land from Billy Kills. And then the first commander of the game, Varragoth, Bloodsky Sire. And that has a Lightning Greaves on it now, so it can swing in. Can't pay for the Boast effect yet, though. And then some blue mana being created over there, and casting Master of the Feast. And we draw into Luminate Primordial. So let's throw down a mountain, and we've got a few 4-drops, not getting into any of the ramp unfortunately. We're just holding up Swords to Plowshares, I think. Cultivate for Maya. Alright, this time swinging in with the Varragoth and going in towards Billy Kills because he's the only open player at the moment. Then going for the activation with Varragoth, as you would expect. We all draw a card with the Master of the Feast, and we get into a Lightning Greaves. Then Greedo, going for those tutors, is going to make him a target, getting hit by the 5/5 demon. And it looks like we might see Borca here. I think we're going to hold on to Swords to Plowshares until we've got an actual direct threat. And we get into a Plains, so again, I think we're going to make a red mana with the double-sided land, but yeah, let's go for the Plains here. And I think Smothering Tithe is okay. Let's actually try to start doing something. We're last in the turn order, so I expect Keeper of the Accord to actually be relevant as well. Karametra, God of Harvests, coming down for kills, and his Maya deck. Alright, going in at us now, we'll just take the damage here. So hitting us, and then going for another Vampiric Tutor. Alright, and then not playing whatever it is that he got into last turn. That's interesting. We will all draw a card. And we get into some card draw of our own in Furious Rise. So that means Smothering Tithe will trigger a bunch. Alright, and yeah, I think this is... yeah, so apparently Smothering Tithe trumps Varragoth and tutors. Because now we've got players swinging in at us. They are very scared of the Smothering Tithe, I think. So in that case, maybe we just go for punishing them for swinging in at us. We'll try and take a little bit less damage if people are going to keep swinging in towards us. We'll get rid of their Borca and just take the 5 from the demon. And now it is Eon Frolicker. When it enters the battlefield, if you cast it, target opponent takes an extra turn after this one. Until your next turn, you gain protection from that player. They couldn't have ended the turn with Borca anyway. And they gave Greedo an extra turn. And people have said to me that they want to see what people are saying in the chat, so you can, we'll go to the beginning, you can pause it here and have a read through here if you want to. And yeah, anyway, they are giving the extra turn to Greedo. So that looks like more tutors going on over there. Throwing down a whip of Erebos here, and then the attacks will be, yep, goes into the red zone again, and attacking Billy kills again. Gains some life now, thanks to the whip of Erebos. And then going for the tutor again, I can't even remember how many that is now. 3 or 4, something like that. And now it's round to our turn. Okay, we get Ulamog, the Ceaseless Hunger. We're 1 mana away from that. I think Keeper of the Accord will be alright. In fact, it'd be interesting to see what they tutored for, wouldn't it? Yeah, let's go for a land here. We'll play the red version. And we'll go Oblivion Sower. Have a look at what Greedo's tutoring for over there. Oh, we got rid of a Cabal Coffers by the looks of it. That's really good. Put any number of land cards that player owns from exile onto the battlefield under your control. Alright, so we don't have to select, we just take all of these. We've also gotten rid of Behold the Beyond. So we get to steal their Cabal Coffers and ramp a little bit with the swamps here. That's really good. So we'll go for the Lightning Greaves. Put that onto the Oblivion Sower. And then maybe we just get down the Furious Rise here. We could hold up the Livio, but I think we want to be doing that late game really. Let's go Furious Rise. I'll hold everything back just in case I want to chump with the Livio. We do control a big creature, so we'll exile something off the top. That is a land for us to make next turn if we want to. And there is another commander, Maya, Bretagard Protector. And I assume no land's made yet. And then they go to make a land and tap down the Idol of Oblivion. Draw a card, because they obviously can easily make human warriors here. Then going for Rampant Growth, that'll make another one. Now a Blood Speaker from the mono black player. At the beginning of your upkeep, you can sacrifice it. If you do, search your library for a demon and put it into your hand. And this time going in at go-go with the Varagoth. And the tutor goes on the stack again. Now we'll draw a card from Master of the Feast again and make some more mana with the Tithe. And there is a Plains for us. We'll probably just go for the Mountain still from the Furious Rise. Signing Blood from Gogo, which triggers the Tithe even further. And getting themselves into a Polluted Delta, which is what I'm guessing they were fishing for there. They don't have a red land yet. And then it is Cold Steel Heart, which they can name red with. And they do. Couple of 5/5 flyers in the air here. One's coming in at us, the other goes in at kills. And now it's round to our turn with a bunch of mana. We've got Generous Gift, that's good. Let's play this land before I play the Plains by accident. Now then we can go Ulamog and get rid of the Greaves and the Karametra. That will free us up for going in for Luminate Primordial to get rid of that. And the Maya, or maybe we have to get rid of this if they're going to go for a big scary demon. Well, we'll tap down our Cabal Coffers for a bunch of black mana. So let's go Ulamog. We'll get rid of the Greaves and the Karametra while we've got the chance. Might be, if we don't see a board wipe, that we actually make use of Livio this game. Maybe we want to carry on messing with the top of Greedo's library. We can exile the top cards with the Ulamog. Top 20 cards to be exact. Now we've got 5-6 mana left up. I think it might be a good time to go for the Keeper of the Accord, to be honest. Then we can carry on ramping for after we lose the Smothering Tithe. Let's see what happens during combat. And here is your update on the chat. Okay, a Doomblade going on to the Livio. Yeah. Would be nice to make use of that with these, but I don't think I'm going to put any resources into messing around with that, to be honest. Yeah, let's let it go down. Swinging at Greedo to exile the top card of his library. And in all of that, I'm not sure what order it puts it in. Oh, we've already seen that. There is the Greaves got exiled. Right, so there's lands on top. I'm guessing it wasn't that. Murder? Maybe tutored for a murder. I'll fast forward here, and you can pause on anything that you want to read. Yeah, got rid of some really good cards there. Let's see if he wants to block with the Ogre. He does not, apparently. So let's go for Keeper of the Accord. And we get into another land again with the enchantment. Seer's Sundial from the Celestia player. And they can pay 2 to draw a card. They do. They've got 7 cards in hand, but deciding to draw another one. They'll obviously get a token from their commander as well. Then they get themselves into a Mana Crypt as well. And a Fertile Footsteps. And it's 7 mana for the other side of that, I think. Yeah, would currently be a 10/10. 7 mana for Beanstalk Giant. And then Sakura Tribelder, so just going crazy with all the token production here. And again, paying for Seer's Sundial, so maybe looking for something specific here. That's the interesting thing about this commander, is that you can pump all your resources into drawing cards with things like that, and still get a board state on the go. And Keeper of the Accord is going to trigger at the end step, so we will get a soldier token, and we will search for a plains here. Plenty more to search for throughout the course of the game, assuming that stays in play. Now then, do they want to go for a demon? They do. So that's tutor number 57. And they went for Sower of Discord. Enters the battlefield, choose 2 players. Whenever damage is dealt to one of the chosen players, the other player also loses that much life. All eyes are going to be on us, I imagine. So swinging in towards Gogo, the only open player. And they've managed to throw themselves down a Cabal Stronghold. If they can't have Cabal Coffers, they might as well have the next best thing. Oh, actually, I don't think we've been exiling the top. Yeah, I forgot all about this thing, actually. They've been drawing into the card they've been tutoring for, haven't they? Yeah, they've tutored a card onto the top and then drawn it during this turn, so we haven't been seeing what we've been exiling off the top at all. Oh well. Rakshasa Debaser. And that can't attack now, but when it does, put a creature card from defending player's graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. And you can return the Blood Speaker from graveyard to hand whenever a demon comes in under your control, so they do that. And then going for the tutor with the Varagoth. So is it worth us going for the generous gift onto the demon over here? I mean, we're getting card advantage from it as well, so maybe not. Yeah, we'll let them draw into whatever they're tutoring for. They've been doing it this whole game anyway, and I just didn't realise it. Discarding down to hand size, a Dread Presence. And we get some more Smothering Tithe triggers as usual. Get into another land. Alright, both of the flyers going in at Billy Kills now. I was just turning my attention towards Billy Kills myself, actually, so yeah, so I'm glad Gogo seems to be thinking the same thing. We'll knock him down to 21. And now a Toxic Deluge, that's going to be a lot of damage. Okay, doesn't tell us actually how much life has been dumped into that. Oh, X is 0. So that won't do anything then. Yeah, I think Gogo might be thinking of like Steel Hellkite and Ugin and things like that, where you can get rid of tokens where X is 0. Or he just misclicked, it's one or the other, but yeah, that's a shame. Not the type of thing, again, as I usually say, it's not the type of thing that would happen in paper. It's just one of those weird Magic Online things that you can make a mistake with. So do we want to generous gift? Yeah, I think we can leave it for now. Draw into a card. That is Gisela. Oof, right, this might be a turn then. Let's play the land from exile before we play another one by accident, same as before. Tap down the Cabal coffers for a bunch of mana. And let's see about making use of our commander here. Currently a 0-5, but we'll get some card advantage from that. Yeah, I think we just go Gisela and for the Primordial this turn. So we'll go for the Primordial first. And how's about we get rid of this demon so that the tutors aren't as good. We'll get rid of the demon here as well. And the commander. And then it's Gisela, so we can go for... yeah, it's flying and first strike on the token player maybe. I don't like how much mana and how many cards they've got over there. So let's put haste on the Gisela. Then we'll go through to combat. We'll go Gisela in at Billy Kills, because that's the only thing we can hit him with. And then all the tutoring and cards in hand makes me nervous there as well. They've got a bunch of mana, so I think we have to bully Greedo here. So that's 20, 30, and 36. And then we'll hold the other stuff back. Looks like everything is going to land here. And there we go, knocking Greedo down to -1. Kills is at 13. Has a bunch of tokens. I don't know if he can really overrun us or anything like that with that few an amount of tokens. And then it'll hopefully just be a 1v1 against myself and Gogo. I think we want to keep Gisela in play more than anything. Yeah, I think we'll keep the Greaves on Gisela here. Furious Rise triggers at the end of the turn, and yet again it is a land. This has been really good, if for nothing else but clearing lands off the top, because it feels really bad when you top deck into lands all the time. Mana Crypt might help us along here with a Lightning Bolt. Unfortunately not. If they'd been bolted there, we could have one-shot them with the Gisela. They might buy themselves another turn here, thanks to not being bolted. They could always be bolted next turn though, I suppose. Emeria Angel, they would have got down a flyer anyway. I dare say they're going to make a bunch more flyers. And playing a spell before they play a land, which gives us the opportunity to get rid of the flyer, which I think I'm going to take that opportunity. Oh no, we can't. Thought we had an extra treasure, we do not. Yeah, I think I would have gone for the generous gift there. I was going to, until I realised I didn't have enough mana. Because that way we've got room for getting through with the Gisela onto them. Yeah, it's going to be difficult now with the Avenger of Zendikar coming into play. A bunch of plant tokens coming down from Avenger, and I dare say they're going to get another land into play. 7 cards in hand still. And there we are, triggering Seer's Sundial. They'll get a bird token and a plus counter on all of their plants. And then Rites of Flourishing for even more card draw. That does allow them to make an additional land, so they'll get even more triggers. And then they went for the Idol of Oblivion. So now we've got enough treasure tokens for the generous gift if we want to use it. A little bit late now though. We'll get triggers from Keeper of the Accord though. Don't think we've seen a board wipe this whole game. So we get a soldier token to chump with, and we'll get a plains for a little bit of ramp. Yeah, it was probably a very good call to get rid of Livio with the Doomblade before, because if we're not going to see a board wipe, then Livio would have been doing a lot of work at this point. Let's see if Gogo has anything for us. The more card draw people get from effects like Rites of Flourishing, the more mana we get from Smothering Tithe. Shorku Endbringer, I do not know that one. Legendary Vampire 5/5 with flying. Can't attack if there's another creature on the battlefield. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 3 life. Tap and exile a creature to put a plus counter on it. Okay, so yeah, we're going to have to think about them being able to get rid of our Ulamog now. Now, do we want to go Generous Gift onto the Emeria Angel to save ourselves mana next turn? Yeah, let's just see what we draw into. If we don't have the mana to do everything we want to, then so be it. Exile a card off the top with Bell Borca. That is just a Fire Diamond, unfortunately. Cleansing Nova is very good. especially with Ulamog in play. Let's play... maybe we want the Mistveil Plains instead of the mountain. We could destroy all the permanents, point Generous Gift at the Ulamog, get the beast, give it haste with Lightning Greaves and kill off Billy Kills with that, couldn't we? That's one thing we could go for. Yeah, so let's attempt a Cleansing Nova here. If Billy Kills has some means of heroic intervention or something like that. He has held up 2 mana, so it might be a heroic intervention. I think we lose next turn anyway, or pretty close to it. We need to get heroic intervention out of his hand if he has it, so let's just try destroy all creatures with the Cleansing Nova. And he's holding up priority. I think he's got heroic intervention. He's drawn a lot of cards this game. No, alright, well, it was worth a try then. Managing to destroy all the creatures. We'll put our commander back in the command zone. Now let's go Generous Gift onto the Ulamog, which cannot be destroyed, so we'll make an elephant with that and hope it doesn't get exiled. Kills has to exile it here. Yep, he's got a Path to Exile. We can't do anything about that. Although we do have a big commander now, thanks to that. We'll get a mountain. That counters the Generous Gift. So we go for our commander. Oh, and does it need to be in play in order to take note of the exiled cards? That's a shame. I thought we might get a big commander there. We still wouldn't have taken out Billy Kills, but yeah, I thought we might be able to do a nice big chunk of damage there. Alright, well, we've reset the board at least. Let's go Mistveil Plains. We can play 2 lands here, can't we? So we'll go for the Plains, go for the mountain here. And the Fire Diamond will have to stay in exile. Not going to trigger the Furious Rise now either. Now, luckily for Kills, he's got plenty of mana, so at the very least he can get his commander down and play some lands, I imagine. And with that, he can draw cards. An austere command, all artifacts and enchantments go down. That's why I wanted to ramp with the... where is it? With the Keeper of the Accord. You can't rely on the fact that you're going to have treasures throughout the entire game, and obviously we're not going to now, so luckily we managed to ramp sufficiently with a bunch of lands. And thanks to Keeper of the Accord, we are still in this game, hopefully. Beanstalk Giant comes down now, and it is a 13-13. Not sure how much evasion is in this deck, to be honest. Sylvan Library as well. I really think it's Billy Kills to win at this point. That Path to Exile onto the Ulamog was really good. So was the Emeria, actually. Emeria Angel. If they didn't have that, we could have kept our board state and swung in at them with Gisela and kept our fingers crossed for a lightning bolt from the crypt, which it turns out they would have dodged anyway. Yeah, so a couple of really good cards from Kills there. Alright, we've just been talking on the Discord. It's lagging on Gogo's end, unfortunately, so hopefully he'll be able to restart the client and rejoin us. Maybe that'll fix it. You've only got like 4 minutes to rejoin once you kind of time out like this, so yeah, it's just saying that he has disconnected, so we'll see if he manages to rejoin us in time. Otherwise, it's going to turn it into a 1v1 between myself and Billy Kills. Yeah, that's a shame. He times out there, so that was the fault of the client, not Gogo's. He didn't get salty and just quit or anything. It was his client lagging there, so apologies to Gogo for that. Try and get another game in with him before the day's over. Let's try not to get into a land. We get into Mangara. Still not good enough against the Beanstalk Giant. Oh, a Chaos Warp is good against the Beanstalk Giant though. So do we want to put anything back into our library with the Mistveil Plains? It's probably the Gisela or the Luminate Primordial, to be honest. Anyway, let's drop the Rugged Prairie and we can throw Mangara into play. Then I think we just need to try and outrace our opponent. Let's see. I mean, we're not going to get into anything much worse than a 13-13, are we? So let's just try Chaos Warping now. Alright, and I think... I don't know what we took them into there. Probably just a land. Let's start hitting them with our commander. And now you would imagine they would want to go for their commander and for another spell, so we might get card draw with Mangara here as well. They're limited on what they can do with Sylvan Library also. Oh, Felidar Retreat. Yeah, couldn't really be much worse than that. We really need to get into some kind of evasion. Although I dare say they cast another spell here at least. Champion of Lamholt and Felidar Retreat. Yeah, and we're just getting into lands. Pretty unfortunate. I feel like I'm just swimming against the tide here, but we might get into something really good. There is the Maya. And Champion of Lamholt is a really, really good card. It triggers on tokens entering as well. And 3 cards left in hand. I imagine that they can rebuild a board here. There's a land. So do they go for the token or the plus counters? Don't imagine they really need the plus counters. Yeah, I'd probably go for the cat there myself, because that will put the counter on the Champion of Lamholt itself. So that makes their entire team unblockable here, unless we get a really big commander somehow. So we've managed to sort of empty Kills' hand, but he's gotten himself into a decent board state here. We'll go Mistveil Plains for a flyer in Gisela. And without the haste, we're just going to have to hope that we can draw into it, play it, and then swing in with it next turn. But that's a big ask, really. Alright, that is Salt Skitter. I make use of this in my Imara Flicker deck, I think it is. Imara's the Azorius god. Whenever another creature enters, exile this, return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So that makes our commander a 4/5 currently. Volcanic Salvo. It costs X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures you control, 6 damage to each of up to 2 creatures and or planeswalkers. Well then, that is a top deck and a half, isn't it? We definitely want to get rid of Champion of Lamholt, and we'll get rid of their commander as well. This is going to cost 6. So we'll go like that, get rid of the mainly Champion of Lamholt. And then we're going to encourage them to chump here, because we don't quite have lethal on them, but we're getting pretty close. Doing better than I thought we would against Billy Kills here. They block. Yep, just chump blocking 1 apiece. So let's grab ourselves the Salt Skitter. And then we can play this land in tapped. And we've got Mistveil Plains held up, which I don't think it's really going to be relevant, but you never know, we might get into that Gisela again, or some means of removal. A Parallel Lives. So they could make a couple of chump blockers here. They'll give us a card draw from the Mangara. Looks like they're just going for their commander again here, I think. Yep, so we draw a card. It's just a talisman, unfortunately. I don't know if we've run out of juice at this point. The Salt Skitter is going to exile itself to buff our commander. Doesn't really matter if we want to turn it sideways. And then, oof, they play a Terramorphic Expanse, so they're going to get a couple of, are they human tokens? Yeah, a couple of human warriors, couple of cats. Yeah, this is an uphill struggle for us, really. We need a flyer. And then when they crack the Terramorphic Expanse, they obviously get a couple more. So now, still with 2 cards in hand, they drew an extra one from the Sylvan Library by the looks of it, so down to 5 now. Let's continue to try to get things with Mistveil Plains. I think I'll just go for the Cleansing Nova, just in case we want to wipe the board here. I think our commander will cost 8 if we need to recast it again. Salt Skitter comes back at the end of the turn. And then we'll get some more card advantage from the Bell Borca. And there is a Settle the Wreckage. So that holds them off of going into the red zone. They might do it anyway, just to ramp. Yeah. Might buy us a turn. Yeah, land tax, yeah, we're getting into the ramp. We just don't need it here. How many lands do they have? They've got 15 to our 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15 as well. So if they play a land next turn, it might trigger the land tax. Just trying to pull as many basics out of the deck as possible to help us with our draws. Yeah, so can't really do anything there, can we? We're just leaving the rock in our hand just in case we can discourage our opponent from doing something. They might assume that we've got a path to exile or something. Now making another land. And it looks as though it's, yeah, that is a plus counter on everything. So a bunch of stuff coming down. The Salt Skitter won't even be able to block because it's going to run away in fear. That will buff our commander at least, which is why it's in here. Don't think they've got lethal on us yet, but they probably do next turn. Maybe they've got an overrun effect here. Shamanic Revelation, that refills their hand. So that is probably the end of us. 12 cards in hand now. Oh, and I thought we could play the spell until the beginning of our next turn. We can only do it on the turn it's exiled, so we don't even have access to the... where is it? To the Settle the Wreckage. Like I said, I thought we have access to that until our next turn, but apparently not, so our opponent may well have us here, especially with Eldrazi Monument. That gives them flying and indestructible. We draw into Luca, Copper Co Outcast, which will do absolutely nothing for us. So a very capable deck by Neal Smothers. I'm very impressed with this one. This isn't a commander that I ever looked at, but I can see it doing some very strong stuff. In fact, we did do some really strong things this game. I think the absolute turning point was the fact that we gambled on the board wipe and being able to get rid of Billy Kills. He just had that path to exile, so that's just unlucky. On any other day, that would have worked out for us. A Chroma's Will now. They control their commander, so it's creatures you control get flying, vigilance, double strike, lifelink, indestructible, and protection from all colours until the end of the turn. Let's see how much damage we can be dealt here. Yeah, look at all the keywords there. Well, we'll draw a card with the Mangara. That's not going to be relevant though, I don't think. Legion's Initiative. Yeah, so if we gotten into the exile/flicker effects a bit earlier on, then maybe we could have saved ourselves from losing the Ulamog and stuff like that, but I think it was always going to be an uphill battle against Billy Kills here, because it seems to be a very resilient deck, and we were struggling on evasion. Like I kept saying, if we had flyers, then we could have gone over all this. But they get us there, jumping up to, I think they were at 5 life, so jumping up to 77, taking us down to -26. That was a really good game. Hopefully you all enjoyed it as well. Be sure to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe if you did. You can support the channel via Patreon, like these three do, through the link in the description below. A big thank you if you consider doing that. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.